She didn't feel it go into her drink. That is the part nobody warns you about. It doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't announce itself. One moment you are laughing at something your best friend said, and the next moment the room is tilting, just slightly, just wrong. And you think, I did not drink that much. Zara Okonkwo, 27, grips the edge of the bar. The music is loud. The lights strobe blue and gold. Around her, the club is full and entirely indifferent. She looks for Tunde, her boyfriend of 2 years, the man who brought her here tonight to celebrate her promotion. She finds him across the room. He's talking to 2 men she has never seen. Then he accepts something. She cannot see what from this distance, this blur, and he pockets it. Then he looks directly at her. He does not move toward her. He does not call her name. He simply looks. And in that look is everything she did not know she should have feared. Zara, barely above a whisper. Something is wrong. Something is... 2 sets of hands she does not recognize take her arms. The last thing she sees clearly before the darkness. Tunde, turning away. Smash cut to black. The real Zara, before any of it. She stands in front of her bathroom mirror, applying eyeliner with the concentrated expression of someone who takes small pleasures seriously. Her room, textbook stacked on the desk. A sticky note reading, "Quarterly report, done." A small framed photo of her mother on the windowsill. She got the promotion today. Junior analyst to department lead. 27 years old, the youngest in the company's history. She called her mother first. Zara, phone to ear, laughing. "Mummy," I said, the youngest. "Yes, I in the whole company's history." "Stop crying. You're going to make me ruin my makeup." She is grounded, warm, the kind of woman who notices when someone is struggling before they say so, who keeps snacks in her desk drawer for bad days, who means it when she asks how you are. Tunde arrives, handsome in the easy way of men who have always been told so. He brings calla lilies, her favorite. He hugs her from behind while she finishes her eyeliner. Tunde, warmly. "You deserve every bit of this. I'm so proud of you." She smiles at his reflection. She does not yet know that the flowers were a prop, that tonight was already arranged, that the 2 years she gave him were, to him, an investment waiting to be liquidated. The drug works in stages. First, warmth, then confusion. Then, the walls begin to breathe. Zara sets down her drink, and her hands are not cooperating the way hands should. She tries to stand, and her knees negotiate terms she does not agree to. Zara, grabbing Tunde's arm. Tunde, something. I don't feel right. I need to go home." Tunde, quiet, clinical. "You're fine, just relax." She looks at him. Through the blur, through the noise, through the thing that is happening to her body. She looks at his face. He's not afraid. He's not concerned. He's waiting. Zara, slowly, understanding arriving like a blow. "What did you do?" He doesn't answer. The 2 men from earlier appear at her sides. Zara, louder, fighting the fog. "What did you do to me?" "Tunde." The music swallows her voice. The crowd moves around her, seeing nothing, or choosing to see nothing. She is steered through a side door. This is written with weight, not spectacle. The horror here is not dramatic. It is ordinary. It is the specific devastation of a familiar face becoming the source of the danger. She is strong. She fights it. She keeps fighting even as her body stops cooperating. We stay with her fear, not the logistics of what is happening to her. The camera stays close, on her face, on her hands, still reaching. Kim Jae-won, 36, does not look like the most dangerous person in the room. That is by design. He's seated, still. His suit is dark and perfectly fitted. His face is the kind that gives nothing away. Not coldness exactly, but the absolute management of expression that comes from years of understanding that information is power and a readable face is a liability. He came here tonight for a meeting, a transaction between networks, and he has brokered these before, not because he feels nothing, but because in his world, feeling things out loud is the fastest way to be used. He's watching the room, as he always watches rooms, categorizing, filing, assessing. And then he sees her. Not because she is beautiful, though she is, because of the way she is moving, or trying to. The specific, unmistakable mechanics of someone fighting a substance in their bloodstream. He has seen it before. He knows exactly what it means. He watches the men steering her. He watches the transaction that just occurred across the room. He understands, in one compressed moment, everything that is happening. He sits with it for 3 seconds. His face does not change. Then he stands. J1, to his associate, low. Stop that. Associate, sir. That is Park's merchandise. We do not interfere with J1. The same, quiet, absolute. Stop it. He does not raise his voice. He never raises his voice. But there is something in the register of it, cold and final, that ends arguments before they begin. His people move. The transaction is interrupted. The two men release Zara and step back, not willingly, but recognizing the weight of the name they are suddenly dealing with. Jaewon crosses the room. He crouches in front of her. She is barely conscious, fighting it. Jaewon, quietly, directly. Look at me. Her eyes find his. She sees a stranger. She sees danger in a new shape. Zara, slurred, fighting. Don't touch me. J1, I'm not going to hurt you, but I need you to stay conscious for the next 2 minutes. She searches his face for the lie. She is too intelligent, even now, and to simply trust. She finds something there she cannot name. Not warmth, not comfort. Something older, something with weight. She doesn't trust him, but the alternative is the 2 men behind her. She lets him guide her out. She wakes slowly. Then, all at once, white ceiling, clean sheets, the specific quality of silence that belongs to large, expensive spaces. She sits up fast, too fast, and the room tilts. She takes inventory. She is fully clothed. She is not restrained. There is a glass of water on the nightstand. Her phone, locked but present, is beside it. She gets up. She tries the door. It opens. She walks out into a corridor that confirms everything. This is a compound, large, guarded. Beautiful in the cold way of places built for security, not comfort. A woman, a staff member, sees her and disappears, or returns with Jaewon's associate. Associate. Mr. Kim requests your presence at breakfast when you are ready. There is no pressure to Zara cutting through. Where am I, and why can I not leave? Associate, carefully. You are safe. Mr. Kim will explain. Zara. I didn't ask if I was safe. I asked why I cannot leave. The associate has no answer she is authorized to give. Jaewon is already at the table. He is reading. He does not look up when she enters. Not rudely, but with the composure of a man who has decided not to perform ease. She sits, not because she is comfortable, because she is gathering information. Zara, directly. I want to know who you are, why I am here, and when I can leave. In that order. He sets down his reading, looks at her for the first time. A full assessing look. Jaewon Kim Jaewon. You are here because the people who had you last night know this address and will not come near it. And you cannot leave yet, because the man who sold you is connected to a network that will find you before you reach the end of this road. Zara, the word landing like a blow. Sold. A silence. Jaewon, evenly. Tunde Adeyemi. 2 years. He was recruited 8 months ago. She absorbs this. Her face does not collapse, but something behind her eyes does. Quietly. Privately. She presses one hand flat on the table. Zara, very quiet. How do you know his name? Jaewon, because I know the network he works for, and they know mine. She looks at him, a long, clear look. Zara, so you are also dangerous. Jaewon, without flinching, yes. Zara, then why should I be less afraid of you than of them? He considers this seriously. As the honest question it is. Jaewon, you should not be less afraid, but you should be accurate. I am not going to harm you. Zara, people say that right before they do. He has no response to this. Because she is right, and he knows it. She does not settle. She maps. Every corridor, every guard rotation, every exit. She catalogs the estate the way she once catalogued quarterly data, systematically, without emotion, building toward a conclusion. She speaks to Jaewon when necessary. She does not perform gratitude she does not feel. She does not pretend comfort she does not have. He does not ask her to. She is reading, or doing a convincing impression of it. He enters, sits across from her without asking. Zara, I found the east exit. The guard rotation has a 4-minute gap at 2 a.m. A beat. Jaewon not surprised. I know. Zara, you're not going to close it? Jaewon, I want you to know it's there. I want you to choose to stay. Zara, that's not a choice. That's an illusion of one. Jaewon, the network that purchased you has your name, your address in Lagos, and a photograph. If you leave this compound before it is neutralized, they will find you within 48 hours. She looks at him. Zara, and how long does neutralizing a trafficking network take? Jaewon, we are working on it. Zara, flatly. That is not an answer. Jaewon, quietly. No, it is not. He does not pretend otherwise. This, somehow, is more unsettling than a lie would have been. She arrives on a Tuesday without announcement, which tells Zara everything. This woman has standing here that does not require permission. So Shin Yuna, 34, is the kind of beautiful that is also a weapon. Composed, precise, dressed in a way that signals both wealth and control. She is Jaewon's business partner, and, by the possessive angle of her body when she stands near him, something that considers itself more than that. She finds Zara in the sitting room and introduces herself with perfect warmth. Yuna, graciously, you must be the woman Jaewon rescued. What a terrible experience. Are you recovering well? Zara, reading the subtext immediately. I'm fine, thank you. Yuna, still warm. Of course, this situation must be so disorienting, being kept somewhere unfamiliar, depending on people you don't know. I imagine it feels quite helpless. Zara, evenly. I don't feel helpless, but thank you for your concern. Yuna smiles. It reaches her eyes exactly the right amount. Yuna, to Jaewon later in Korean, but Zara can see the shape of it. How long is she staying? Zara watches this exchange from across the room. She does not understand the words. She understands everything else. That night, someone goes through her room while she sleeps. Nothing is taken. Something is left. A burner phone with a single number saved. A message. The exit he showed you is real. Use it tonight. I will arrange the rest. Zara stares at it for a long time. Then she takes it to Jaewon. She places the phone on his desk. He looks at it. Something in his jaw tightens. Barely visible, but she is watching closely enough now to catch it. Zara. Someone wants me to run. They want me to think it was your idea. Jaewon, quietly. Why did you bring this to me instead of using it? She considers this. So Nazra, because whoever sent this wanted me scared and running and alone. And I've decided that's not useful to me right now. He looks at her for a long moment. Jaewon, you are not what I expected. Zara, without warmth. No one ever is. She begins to notice things. She mentions once that she cannot sleep without noise. The next morning there is a small white noise machine on the nightstand. No note. She looks at a bookshelf in passing and says she misses reading for pleasure. Within the day, 6 novels appear, Nigerian authors, 1 Kenyan, 1 Ghanaian, nothing Korean. He researched her taste. She skips dinner. He does not comment. But the kitchen leaves her jollof rice, properly made, not a version of it, outside her door at 10 p.m. She has a nightmare. She wakes to find the corridor light on, and the sound of footsteps that stop just outside her door. Then quiet. Then nothing. He never mentions it. She does not call these things kindness. She calls them data. She is still building her map, except now the map has a new variable she did not account for. She is outside before the sun fully rises. He finds her there, not following her, but the estate is his, and he knows the shape of it at every hour. They stand in the same garden and say nothing for a while. Just 2 people and the early morning. Zara, eventually. Do you feel anything when you make decisions that affect people's lives? He is quiet long enough that she thinks he won't answer. Powerhouses, yes. I feel it after, not during. During. I can't afford to. Zara. That sounds like a very lonely way to live. He looks at her. J1. It is, and she does not soften. But she files it, in the part of herself that keeps honest accounts. The first car arrives without headlights. One of J1's perimeter guards radios in 3 words, and the estate shifts. A rival faction. Moving on intelligence that Zara is here, that she can be used as leverage against J1, whose uncharacteristic behavior around her has been noted and catalogued by people whose job is to notice things. J1 moves fast, not into panic, into precision. His team responds like a machine with one mind. He reaches Zara's room. She is already awake, already upright, already assessing. J1, low, urgent. We need to move, now. Zara, how many? He pauses, surprised briefly by the question. J1, enough. Come. They move through the estate. He stays close, not gripping her, not dragging her, but positioning himself between her and every uncertain corner. She notices this. She says nothing. In a narrow corridor, something moves at the wrong end. He steps in front of her without hesitation, not as performance, as reflex. They reach safety. The threat is neutralized. Afterwards, in the quiet of a secure room, he sits with his hands on his knees and breathes. She watches him. This version of him, stripped of the architecture of control, just a person who is tired. Zara, quietly, are you hurt? He looks up. The question seems to reach him from a distance. J1, no more Zara. Are you sure? A long pause. He looks at her like she asked something much larger. J1, quietly. Not always. She nods. She sits nearby, not touching, not offering anything she doesn't mean, just present. Episode 8. The truth that breaks into estate secure room. Day, 3 weeks and his associate brings a file. J1 reads it, and his expression, the one he has built over 20 years of self-control, does something it does not usually do. It cracks. Only for a second. But Zara is watching. Zara. What is it? He closes the file. He looks at her for a long time. J1, I need to tell you something. She waits. J1, the trafficking network that took you. The one your boyfriend was recruited into. I have known about it for 18 months. She is very still. J1, I have been building a case against it, collecting evidence, positioning assets. The reason I was at that club the night you were taken was because I was meeting one of Park's lieutenants, feeding him false information to accelerate our timeline. Zara, carefully. You knew about it. For 18 months. Joy. Yeah, Zara, how many women went through that network in 18 months? Silence, the most devastating kind. Job I1? Low. 43. That we documented. She stands. She walks to the window. She stands there for a very long time. Zara, without turning. Why didn't you shut it down? J1, because shutting down one operation sends them underground. We needed to dismantle the entire structure, all of it, permanently. Zara, 43 women. J1, I know. Zara, you knew, and you calculated. J1, yes. She turns. What is in her eyes is not rage, it is worse. It is the grief of someone who has just been shown the full shape of the world they are living in. Zara, quiet and final. And I am the 44th, except you decided I was worth pulling out. But he opens his mouth. Zara. Don't explain why this one was different. He doesn't. Because she is right. And because the honest answer, that something in him had finally reached its limit, and she happened to be standing at the edge of it, is not a justification. It is just a truth. And truths in this room are not enough. She is packed before the house wakes. Efficient, clean, nothing left behind. She used his own resources. The legal team he had offered her, the documentation he had arranged. She built her own exit inside his walls, using his assets. He would appreciate the precision of it, she thinks, in another life. He is in the foyer. Of course he is. J1, the network is not fully dismantled. It is not safe yet. Zara, I have your legal team's direct line. I have the security detail you cannot legally refuse to give me. I have enough. J1, Zara. She stops. She looks at him. J1, I did not pull you out of that room because of strategy. I want you to know that. She is quiet for a moment. Zara, I believe you. And it still doesn't fix the 43. He has nothing to say to this, because she is right. And she knows he knows it. Zara, softly, not unkindly. Goodbye, J1. She walks out the door. The morning is bright and indifferent, and entirely hers. She does not disappear. That is the first thing. She goes to the police, not naively, but with documentation, with names, with the carefully assembled evidence that J1's team had been building for 18 months, and that she copied before she left. She goes to a journalist she trusts. She goes, ultimately, to an NGO that does this work properly. The network collapses publicly, loudly, in a way that cannot be buried. 43 names are found. Not all of them can be returned to themselves, but some can. Some are. She goes to therapy. She does not perform recovery. She does the work of it, slowly, imperfectly, honestly. She returns to her job. She is different, not broken, not harder. Something more precise, more awake. She does not talk about him, but sometimes, late at night, she allows herself to sit with the complexity of it. The fact that a dangerous man made one decision that saved her life. The fact that the same system he operated inside had consumed 43 others. The fact that both things are true simultaneously, and there is no clean resolution to that. She sits with it. She does not resolve it. She keeps going. And he has been in Seoul, then Hong Kong, then, quietly, Lagos. He did not come to find her immediately. He spent 3 days in the city, not tracking her, not surveilling her, just existing in the place that made her, sitting at the kind of buka she'd probably like. Walking the bridge at sunrise. He is not the man who sat at that club meeting. He is quieter. The control is still there. It is structural. It is who he is. But it no longer looks like armor. It looks like choice. She is walking by the water when she sees him. She stops, completely still. He sees her see him. He does not move toward her. He waits. Zara, from a distance, careful. How long have you been here? J1, 3 days. Zara, you didn't come to me. J1, I didn't know if I had the right. She walks toward him. She stops a few feet away. She looks at him directly, the way she has always looked at him, without flinching, without softening, with complete honesty. Zara, why are you here? He looks at the water, then back at her. J1, the network is gone. All of it. The remaining 43 cases, what could be documented, I gave to your journalist contact anonymously 4 months ago. Zara, quietly. I know. I recognized the structure of the files. A pause. J1. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know the weight of what I did, the waiting, the calculating. I know that does not unhappen because I eventually chose differently. I'm not here to reduce that. Zara, then what are you here for? He's quiet for a moment. This version of him, standing on a Lagos waterfront in the morning light, no armor visible, I will no strategy in his face, is almost a different person. Almost. J1. I'm here because I left Seoul, and I ended up here. And I don't think that was an accident. And I needed you to know that I know the difference between who I was and who I'm trying to become, even if that means nothing to you. She looks at him for a long time. Zara, slowly. It doesn't mean nothing. He looks up. Zara, it doesn't mean everything either. Not yet. Maybe not for a very long time. J1. I know. Zara, carefully. But I'm going to get breakfast. There's a place nearby. If you want to walk, she turns. She walks. He follows. 2 steps behind. Then, gradually, beside her. Not holding hands. Nothing resolved. Nothing promised. Just 2 people walking the same road on a Lagos morning while the city opens up around them. Loud and living and full of complicated light. The camera pulls back until they are small. Fade out. A corner table. Plates between them. The particular ordinary warmth of a morning meal. She wraps her hands around her tea. Zara, I want to ask you something. J1. Okay, Zara. If I hadn't been there that night, if it had been someone else, would you have intervened? He is quiet for a long time. She watches him not reach for the comfortable answer. J1, honestly. I don't know. I'd like to say yes. I want that to be true. Zara. That's the most honest thing you've ever said to me. J1, quietly. I'm trying to be a person who tells the truth even when it costs something. She looks at him. Something in her expression. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But the beginning of a door that is not fully closed. Zara, half a smile. That's a long road. J1. I know. I'm not in a hurry. She looks out the window at Lagos, her city, still here, still hers. She looks back at him. Zara, eat your food. He does. He almost smiles.